This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome back to the first episode in a while. Today we are looking at, as you can see behind me, the entire Adidas basketball lineup of 2023. If you're sponsored by Three Stripes, if you like Adidas, you just like their athletes, we're going to dive in and see what's the best shoe, who fits, what kind of athlete, and if any of these are going to be for you. Let's jump right in. All right, so we're going to be taking a look at the top shoes from Adidas, and that includes the Harden Volume 7, the Dame 8, the Ice Trae 2, the Trey Young 2s, and finally the D.O.N Issue 4s. And initially I was going to do the Ant-Man shoe, but that was more of a player edition, so we're not going to include that one. Most of these shoes in various colorways are available on sale at Adidas right now, so please check them out. Use the links in the description. It definitely does help the channel out. But we're going to start this off with the shoe I don't have from the three back here. And you notice there's one missing, and we're going to start with that one first. And I don't want to say it's the worst one, but it's definitely the cheapest. We're talking about the D.O.N Issue 4. The Donovan Mitchell 4 by Adidas is really a team shoe. The materials feel generally really durable, but cheap. There's nothing really nice. I mean, we have leather, we have knit, we have just much nicer uppers on the rest of the lineup. It does run rather tight. I did have to do a 12.5, and again, mind you, for Adidas's lineup in the US, and this actually goes to all parts of the world, I'll put a link to a sizing video I did. You actually are about a half size up on all Adidas shoes. And what I mean by that is if you have a Nike 12, a UK Nike 12 is a UK 11. An Adidas 12 is a UK 11.5, which means it's a 12.5 in pretty much every other shoe, from Nike to Under Armour to New Balance. All of them are sized that one size difference. So by doing a 12.5 in the Adidas, I'm really doing closer to a 13 for the D.O.N. So it does run kind of tight. It does need quite a bit of break-in. And honestly, the cushion is just okay. So I did a few runs in them, and honestly, it just hurt my knees. They are a minimal cushion setup. Traction was good, fit, you were locked down. And if you're just looking for a good looking budget shoe where you're not going to have a lot of traction, maybe you have your own insole where you're happy with that, or you want to have something where there's minimal cushion, you're going to like these. These are the cheapest of the bunch, and you kind of get what you pay for. I will give kudos to Adidas, as these are durable shoes. You're going to be used for indoor or outdoor. They do look good, as well as you can't help but not like the athlete. Donovan Mitchell is an awesome player, and if you're a fan of his, whether from the Utah days or in Cleveland, Ohio, and you like the Cavs, well, go get his shoe. Next up is the oldest shoe of the bunch, and a player that is, I guess he's on the same team, but he'll probably be on a new team, and that's Dame. Dame time, the Dame 8. This thing has been out for a while. It is an awesome shoe. Honestly, this is kind of like the Goldilocks of the bunch. I don't think it does anything incredibly well, but it just does everything excellent or very well. And we'll start with the fit. I think I was able to go true size, which is a 12. Let me double check here. So also 11.5 UK, so this is a foot more like a 12.5. Wide foot friendly. This upper just molds to your foot. The more you wear it, the better it feels. Again, if you are a true size 10, you do want to get a 9.5. So all Adidas shoes, again, are running a little bit big. The materials on this upper, I think they call it like a jacquard, but it's not quite a knit, but it is breathable. It forms to your foot, feels really nice. I love that this is not quite high top, low top. This is a solid mid top. And kind of getting into the fit, I love it has a really nice Achilles cushion here that it just really locks in and works really well with the solid heel cup, as you can hear it there. And then I do like, it's kind of cool, you can see here, the pull tabs are offset. You have one on this side, and you're working away one over here. So you have something that's really nice to pull on, cushion on the tongue. So fit, really enjoyed. Materials, really enjoyed. Down to the cushion, this is still using just a traditional bounce cushion setup, and it feels okay. Like, I feel this is definitely a step above what we're getting in the Dames. This is something I can enjoy playing in, but this is a minimal cushion setup. This is similar to what we're getting on something like the Under Armour Curry line with their Flow line, although I would say this is a little bit more comfortable, although that has equal impact protection, if that makes sense. So the Under Armour plays firmer, but when you land, it does absorb shock better than you would think. These have a little bit nicer feel to them, just slightly more bounce, just a little bit more impact protection, but ultimately this is kind of a firmer ride, all things considering. You're not getting a bounce. This isn't Zoom Air, this isn't React Cushion, or it's super soft, or what we have coming up with some of our other shoes here, but it does have quite a bit of stack height going all the way through. So you can see how thick that is. So you're not riding as low to the court as you would think, although it does have good court feel. Ultimately, this is kind of like a Goldilocks. Same thing, traction kind of has that wave bone. You can kind of see going up and down here, and it works well. I'm not going to say the traction is the best and amazing, but I enjoyed it. Takes a few wipes. This is one that I actually really did like. Looking forward to the Dame 9, and if he's playing on the Miami Heat, hopefully we're going to get some pretty cool colorways. Next up, we got the coldest shoe of the bunch. I think this looks really cool. We got the Ice Trade 2 from the Trey Young. Second signature shoe. This has a lot of vibes coming from that old school Kobe feet you wear kind of vibes, except it's a low top. Love the look of it. This knit upper feels like you're wearing a sock, although it does get really, really hot. The breathability on this kind of sucks. Materials though, you got this really nice suede right here on the pull tab and little hits over here, suede right here on the rand. Everything just feels really premium on this. This just is to me, it's a good looking shoe, although I can definitely see how it's really bold with the 3 stripes. It may not be everyone's liking as far as style, but I did, again, go with a 12. Might have gone up half a size, and we'll get into the sizing real quick here. Essentially, this opening, and you guys can kind of see, is tight. If you have a high instep, so the height of your foot right here, if you have a high instep, you're not going to be able to get this shoe on. I have a slightly high instep, so for me, getting this on, kind of a pain. I do have to kind of be standing up. I have to give it a nice strong pull, and then I do have quite a bit of tension here. As far as lacing, I can keep these essentially completely loose because this is just hugging my foot so tight. This is very similar to the laceless shoes that Adidas has in the last couple years. This kind of took the mantle from those, the next gen, where I have both of those. The first one was so tight I couldn't barely wear. Second one, I have to wear really thin socks, and I really do enjoy those, but they're just hard to get on. If you can't put a shoe on, or it's just annoying to put it on, you're not going to wear it as much. This is not as bad as that, but if you have high instep, you're not going to be able to wear them. And if you have a really wide foot, these run narrow. Now, I thought the knit upper would give some, but underneath, and see if you can hear it, this has a lot of backing. This might be knit, but you have a complete backing underneath here. You have some plastic. This is a lot of support on here, and again, these do play really low to the ground. We'll get to the cushion and support here in a second, but if you have a wide foot, if you have a high instep, these are shoes that are just not going to fit a lot of different feet. If you have a narrow foot, if you have kind of a normal instep, you're going to be just fine, and you're going to feel that incredible lockdown, especially if you have to tighten them down here. But you have a rather firm heel cup that comes up where you feel locked in. You have a nice torsion system here where this plastic wraps all the way around, goes through the shank plate, so you really feel secure, and that's getting into the support of the shoe. This shoe puts your foot in a really high heel instep. So your foot feels your heel kind of high. That's because you have this massive boost puck in the heel that is super cushy. It's great. But going down into the forefoot, you really sit in the midsole of the shoe. This says it has Light Strike. Obviously, it's not Light Strike Pro. It's not like some of the running shoes. And this is not Light Strike like, I guess, regular Light Strike, even some of the regular running shoes like the Boston or something like that. I don't feel anything. You feel like you are right on the floor. Now, again, that goes with support. Even though this is a low top, even though this doesn't feel like it has a lot of support, because you are so low to the court, because you are so within the shoe, this just becomes something that you really do have a lot of lateral support. You have a lot of tactile feel where you feel quick, you feel secure on the court. This is something that, even if you're dealing with injuries, if you have a good fit, this is something that's going to work really well, even as a low top. Harkens back to some of the Kobe days. But one thing I'm going to warn you, and this flows right into the cushion, that massive heel cushion creates an experience where your heel kind of can go up and down. This is super cushy, and it actually creates a kind of a trampoline effect into the forefoot where there's nothing. So you have kind of a trampoline effect into really the firm court to push off. So you do feel quick. I can see how Trey Young likes this. I see how a lot of players could enjoy this. For me, being a bigger player, the fact that this is kind of launching me onto a non-existent forefoot cushion, it really kind of hurts. And I'm used to playing something like the KD 15s with this massive foam cushion with full length zoom strobel, where I have a nice underfoot softness and bounce. And you kind of get that in the heel with the boost, but you're way off the court, and then all of a sudden you're really on the forefoot. So it's an unusual feeling. It does have kind of a spring effect, but it is very drastic. So if you like court feel, but you want to protect your joints, or you're a strong heel striker, you use your heel a lot when you land, this is something that, again, this feels very catered to Trey Young's game and what he likes. I can see how this can be very comfortable. Now, I did actually partially injure my right Achilles. That's why you guys haven't seen me, kind of hidden within the video here. This soft cushion where my heel is really going further down and stretching that Achilles and then launching forward and just putting additional pressure is something that I just was not able to enjoy. Now, I don't want to give this a bad review because that is an injury specific to me, but I do want to give you guys a heads up. I am recovering, I am feeling good, and it feels great to be back in the court and doing a video for you guys again. But going that same thing, traction, I've only used these on court. I've used them about 6 runs, and every single time the traction feels squeaky. It feels like it's going to be solid, and I end up having to wipe more than I think, and I end up sliding more than I think I should. I would say the traction's okay. It is not confidence inspiring. So that is on the borderline of bad, but it's not a bad traction setup. I played out some really dusty courts in these, and at the same time, 2 of my runs were cut short just because of this cushion setup. I really had to take them off, and I could not enjoy them or put a lot of pressure in them because of how it's set up and because of my injury and my body type. But if you guys have a narrow foot, if you like court feel, if you really are looking for nice heel cushioning and you want something that's a low top but still has a ton of support, this still does have a lot going for it. All right, and the best for last, you guys have seen this. If you watch Wear Testers, if you watch any other channel, this is Adidas's best shoe they've made in years. The Harden Volume 7. specifically in this colorway. Most of the colorways are a plastic or just cheap looking. I got the white ones because that's all they had. I didn't know. This actually has just a really nice quilted leather upper, suede toe box. This is giving me vibes, and let me see if I have them here, of like the Harden Volume 1, where you have just this beautiful leather suede. Now, this was a limited edition kind of luxury version of the Harden, but the Harden Volume 1 kicked things off with something really luxurious. The Harden Volume 2 were really chunky, had a ton of cushion. Imagine this heel cushion, but throughout the entire shoe. Now, my favorite Harden was the Harden Volume 3. I actually did get, I think I have 3 pairs, and the only negative to those was the traction started to give out depending on the colorway. Some tractions were better or worse, and even up until last year, I was trying to find a different Harden Volume 3. This finally improves on the Harden Volume 3. Going through the history of Hardens, the 4 were one of the worst shoe ever, and the 5th were super clunky, and it's had some promise, but not nearly as good. This, even though this looks kind of chunky and big, this plastic is really soft, almost rubbery. This can fold. This has a lot of flexibility. You feel quick. It really plays much lighter than what this giant chunky, you feel like this is going to be a hard plastic covering all of this, but this ends up being just an incredibly comfortable shoe. I believe it's using a similar setup where you can kind of tell right here has boost in the heel, and I think it's like a Light Strike or Light Strike Pro in the forefoot. Whatever it is, this is a comfortable shoe that fits incredible. Again, I went with my size 12. Going into fit, this has a similar stretch booty to what we got in the Trey Young, except this is super stretchy, easy to put on. When you lock this in, the entire upper just folds in on your foot. The fit feels incredible. Super chunky kind of heel cup where you would think this is a bulky shoe, and it fits and has support as if it's a bulky shoe, but it plays light and has a cushion that is so well balanced. I feel like I'm gushing. And even the traction, which is a translucent also I don't really like, was just awesome. Never really had issues. I've recommended this to 2 of my other friends who are playing in these. They loved them as well, and it's I always look for validation too. I put my tests in, I put my runs in, and I do stand by how I do my reviews. But when you recommend something to somebody and they play in it, they're just like, yeah, everything you said is correct. It does still feel good. Now again, I have not seen some of the other colorways, but I love the materials on this. This adds to it. Love the cushion setup. Love the fit on this. Now, this is something that is probably going to be making my top 5 of the year, but this is still less cushion than a lot of the max cushion setups we're getting from Nike, from even Way of Wade, from Jordan, but way more than anything we're getting from Under Armour and Anta. Kyrie, throw it out there. Kyrie, can you please have Anta make shoes past size 12, 12 and a half, 13? Us Bigfooters want to wear quality basketball shoes from around the world as well. Let's see what you can do. Back to the Harden Volume 7. I hope Harden goes to a contender. I wish him the best because this is the best shoe line that Adidas has, and I thoroughly enjoyed playing in them. Guys, girls, thank you so much. I know a few of you guys have reached out and asked me if I was okay, if I had videos coming up. I have so many shoes to continue playing in to test, and I am not sure which one to do, but if you guys want to shoot me in the comments what you want to see coming up, I pretty much have all the shoes that we released. I've played in them sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot, but I do want to be coming out with more, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please share this video. Put in the comments below what you guys want to see. As always, this is Levi with Sneaker Gears. Really appreciate you guys, and I'll be coming at you next time.